Hey everybody, every now and then something absolutely stupid happens in this game, and this was one of those occasions. Well, when I say every now and then, I mean constantly. Stupid things happen almost every match in World of Tanks, but on this occasion this was particularly incredible. So we've ended up on Ensk with me in my Object 430 and Marius, who turned up with me, driving his T-62A, which remains his only Tier 10. We decide to head through the lumberyard. Pretty solid plan, it's what we normally do in mediums. With the 62A's bouncy turret and the 430's good mobility and excellent frontal armor, as well as the really high combined DPM of both, we should be able to deal pretty handily with the enemy mediums should they decide to come in. Quite often people will come into the lumberyard one or two at a time. You won't have too many on your hands. Now I look at the scoreboard though, I'd failed to notice just how many mediums the enemy had, and so it's a good thing that some of them were idiots and went to the town. So straight away, the T-49 spots me, I spot him back, and I'm able to snap off a quick shot into him before he can get into cover. One of the enemy Lorraines is out in the field, which is a fucking stupid place to take a Lorraine, because it's a gigantic target that can't take arty hits, can't take any hits, but especially is allergic to arty. Not somewhere you want to take a Lorraine. So I pull into cover here. The T-49 tries to pop me in the side, but I'm too quick for him, and he misses anyway. Unfortunately, moving to deal with him causes the STB to get a free shot at my side, but a hit from the STB is certainly a lot less worrying than a full pen from the T-49. Because the T-49 does have such a big gun, I want to get him out of play as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, I do get careless and drive into the E-50 shot, and now I'm starting to worry, because we have a lot of shit here. The Lorraine rolls out. Thankfully, the 430's front armor deals with his shot quite nicely. The STB goes for Marius instead of focusing my low health tank down. It's a critical mistake, he should have gone for me. And Defender, the player with the dubious honour of having over 100,000 games on the NA server, one of the few, if not the only, rolls around the corner in his E4 and snapshots me. Of course, my armour isn't really going to bounce that, so I'm now one-shottable for pretty much anything. The T-49 is firing heat, thank God. If that had been an HE shell, I probably would have died. At this point, both myself and Marius are pretty beat up. Marius does still have a decent amount of hit points, but he could lose them very quickly if he's not careful. I pop the T-49 just before he can roll into cover, and tell Marius he needs to take Definder's shots while I find a position where I can get some shots off myself. The enemy 140 has been in town so far, which is really good news for us. Actually, this match has gone pretty quickly. I was worried I'd hit Marius there, but it turns out I missed them both. And now with the Leopard actually in play and able to support me, I roll in behind Defender, who apparently doesn't know, after 125,000 games, that the E4's turret doesn't rotate all the way around. Defender again goes for the Leopard instead of going for the definite kill. He rams me and tracks me, but I'm lucky enough to get away before he can reload. And then I bait him into the most obvious trap on Earth, and he falls for it. .140 snapshots, both of us failed to do any damage there, and have a bit of a T-bone. And now I want to keep my gun in front of the 140's gun so it won't be able to reliably pen me. And it turns out I actually managed to kill it before it can get another shot off. I'm not sure if I ammo racked it or what. Either way, that was the best player on their team, dying to a 430 with just over 100 hit points. Not something you see every day. Very sloppily played match from me. I threw away a hell of a lot of hit points. I played really aggressively, more than I should have. I pushed into some pretty stupid positions I shouldn't have pushed into, but if you get away with it, I guess it's not quite as stupid as it looks, and we certainly got away with it this match. Marius and I certainly had some fun there, even if we were just about shitting ourselves for about half the game. But again, the Object 430 shines through with its pretty good front armor. I mean, it's not going to bounce an E4 at point blank range, usually, but it certainly will give a Lorraine problems, and it's outstanding DPM. I've gone into the issue of DPM before, you know, the theoretical DPM versus the practical DPM, and why in certain situations a tank which has very high DPM actually may as well have none. But the 430 has a very high practical DPM unless it's on a hill. It fires fast rounds, so you don't need to worry so much about missing moving targets. You don't need to lead as much. The gun is fairly accurate. It's not great, but it's not going to miss at mid-range. And it will pen most things without having to resort to gold ammo. So it's a solid gun all round. Really the only issue where you start losing practical DPM on the 430 is if you're facing one of the few things that can reliably bounce you, or if you're actually on a back slope and you can't get enough gun depression to hit the target. Since you only have, I think it's 5 degrees across your frontal arc, and then you've got a couple spots off the back left and back right corners where you only have 1 degree of gun depression. But overall, very solid tank, very good medium for pub matches. This and the E50M are probably the two safest pub match options if you want to play medium tanks. Probably the third safest option, I would imagine, would be the either the STB1 or the Object 140. It kind of could go either way. But fun tanks play. A lot of fun, actually. And still not all that common. So it seems to be one of the more well-guarded secrets of the game. Not that many people actually play through this line and get the 430, I guess because the line is kind of difficult if you don't know what you're doing. You know, you've got the weird curveballs thrown in of the A44 and the Object 416, but if you can play through those, and the 430 variant too, and get yourself to the tier 10, and you know, you're not a complete mouth breather, then you end up with a very, very solid tank. It's a lot of fun to play, can synergize well in a platoon with basically any medium. And it also doubles as a superb scout, because you have the best camo in tier 10. And, you know, 400 meter view range, what more could you want? Slap some optics on it, put a good crew in, and you will basically piss off every light tank on your team ever, because you'll steal all their spotting and probably have a better chance of surviving the match than they have, while also putting out more damage. Can't recommend this thing enough, but hopefully through watching my videos you've been able to get a sense of how it is, and if that is at all your kind of thing, pick one up today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've got a few more 9.5 games to go that were recorded over the last 2 or 3 days, so I've been recording them pretty fast. The problem is that now with these stupid missions, I'm just about burned out on the game because people are throwing matches to try and get their mission requirements. It is unbelievable. It is worse than the worst of quintuple experience weekends. It's so bad. I've never seen so many people doing so much stupid shit, myself included. And so I kind of regret getting so hyped for the T55 now, because A, some of the missions are really hard to get, like set something on fire. Yeah, okay, let me just wave my magic fire wand. You know, my Centurion has a crew with Deadeye on the gunner, and it's a good high-pen gun. That thing should set people on fire like there's no tomorrow. I haven't been able to. It's like now the one time I actually need to set people on fire, it doesn't happen. But between the, you know, the mission requirements being a bit stupid, and people throwing matches just to try and get their survival bonuses or whatever the secondary requirements of a certain mission are, it's so bad. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get the T55 now. I don't even know if I want to play the game for that long. So I might end up taking a break from tanks until the worst of the mission stuff washes over. Scoop up my T55 in a couple months once everything settles down, and in the meantime find something less infuriating to play. Actually, I'm kind of thinking about putting up some War Thunder videos, so we'll take a look at that maybe, and maybe some naval action. And then, I don't know, we'll see what else. But I'll cut this one off here, so I wish you the best, and I'll see you on the next one.